right. Okay. Hey, hello out there. Happy March 31st. I'm Aaron from Solace. Welcome back to yet another Solace office hours. Yeah, it's March 31st. Hello from Toronto. I'm coming up to you live from my place, I guess. So today we're not doing a product demo. You know, I don't have somebody from our product management team here. Instead, we're going to be demoing a tool that I wrote, and to help me show it off and talk about it and talk about topics and other things in general, I'm going to bring my colleague Tom Fairbairn onto the call. Hey, Tom.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Welcome. How are you doing, man?
I'm good. Coming to you not from Toronto, but London.
Live
all over the world, man.
Live from the London office.
Yeah.
Who's that behind you there?
That's Matt behind you.
It isn't Matt. Yeah, okay. Hi, Matt.
Yeah, he's waving. He's waving.
Mr. Hobbes, the Hobbes himself. Awesome. How are you doing? Things are well, I guess.
Yeah, it's good.
Do you want to introduce yourself, just for people who may not know you?
Sure. Okay. Tom Fairbairn. I'm one of Solace's distinguished engineers, as you can see from the grey hair. Been around a while. I'm part of the solution engineering team, right? So helping customers understand how our technology helps with stuff, right? Which hopefully it does. Usually it does.
And Tom was actually my very first guest I ever had on the office hours, way back probably 2021. I used to do them solo, and then it started I invited you on, and I think Srikanth was my second guest. I'm like, this is much easier with extra people. So
what was that first subject? I can't remember.
We were just doing Ask Me Anything type ones.
That's right.
On Solace community, browse around for questions live from the audience, which we used to get. And I think I don't know if it was the first one or the second time you had. My laptop decided to reboot basically as soon as we started the live stream, and you were left on your own for about 5 minutes while my laptop restarted. That was fun. Anyway. Hi to everybody. Thank you for joining us. Wherever you are, watching us live on YouTube, watching us live on LinkedIn or on the Solace community, say hello. Put yourself, say hello, say something in the chat. Tell us where you're joining us from. We always like to do a couple shout outs here at the beginning.
Carol's joining from the Netherlands.
Oh, we got a couple already. Yeah. Hey, Carol. How's it going, man? Good to have you with us. Happy end of March. Another. That's so Carol's watching us on two different platforms here. I see you switched to Restream. No, this is still StreamYard. StreamYard is our streaming platform that we've been using for many years. I kind of wanted to go to LinkedIn crashed. Oh, that's not good. If it did, that's not good. If somebody out there on LinkedIn is watching us and they can hear us, let us know. Just to say hello. Hey, Running Roach, welcome back. Good evening. It's late there for you. Almost April. All right. So with my browser, very good. Okay. Well, hopefully LinkedIn is working. Okay. So Tom, today we're going to talk about the topic Hierarchy Explorer, the Sunburst topic Hierarchy Explorer. And I know, I'm driving the show today, but I'm happy to have you here. And because, obviously you've used it. Like we've seen customers like this tool, find it quite interesting. Also good for demos because it kind of gives a certain visual quality to stuff that maybe is not always so relevantly accessible with your applications all kind of messaging around between each other, right?
Yeah, there's a different aspect to it too, which is, we talk to customers, we say one of the most important foundations when you're deploying an event mesh is this idea of a topic taxonomy, right? And that's a bit of a slippery concept when you first start it. So this is just a visual tool that helps you try to kind of understand it a bit more, right? And try and get a hold of that concept.
Yeah. It's also useful for, once things are deployed and running for several months or years, maybe you don't actually know what's going on under the covers, right? The Solace broker has metrics for all sorts of things, message rates at the broker level, at the VPN level, each client, each queue, you can see the number of bytes, number of messages. But at the individual topic level, because Solace does have these kind of ephemeral topics, they don't really exist as an object. Every topic, every message could publish to a unique topic if they wanted to. There's no way the broker can track stats on that level. So unless you're using something like distributed trace or unless you build something like this, which is essentially just listening. It's another message consumer listening to the topic feed and constructing, listening to this data. So yeah, it kind of allows you to peer into your application as it's running and see what you can see. So I'm going to share my screen, and Tom, you're just going to get to watch. I'm going to move this over here, and obviously keep an eye on the chats there in case there's something that needs to.
We'll do. People, you got questions? Ask questions. The chat's there.
That's right. Well, we can flash that up here. Look at this here. Got a question? Put it in the chat. Yeah. Okay. So a bit of a history lesson. So before the pandemic, I was playing around with this JavaScript library called D3. It can do various visualizations, and yeah, it has this one called a Sunburst, which is a hierarchical data representation. And I thought it'd be great for visualizing this Solace topic taxonomy. So I made what became essentially version 1 of the topic hierarchy. I'm just going to share my screen here. I have a kind of some canned data here. Is that zoomed in enough? Here, I'll zoom in one more click here and just refresh that. There we go. That's legible, eh? So this was, oh, you're on mute, Tom.
I was just saying, yeah, that's good.
Okay. So this was just a demo originally. I showed it off at the Singapore user group we had here or in Singapore many years ago, and eventually got built into the product, into our event portal, the version 1 event portal. It was actually available as a download. You could make a little Docker container and run it, and it would scan your environment and it would display this stuff. So, you could kind of mouse around, see the different topics. You'll notice up at the top left-hand corner up here that as I move around, you'll kind of notice the topic, at least root of the topic that you're looking at, and some of the stats and metrics on it. So for this particular, for all the topics that start with SFMTA/bus, you can see that I have 4,000 messages out of a total of I don't know what, about 56% there. So total messages 4,600. Yeah, so as I go onto the node, there it is. Yeah, so I have to look at the node. So 2,002 out of 400. So you can kind of get some metrics on terms of like how many topics were done. You could kind of change the size of each arc by looking, so relative frequency. So now the arc size is relative to, how many messages are received. So you can kind of get an idea that bus topics are way more common than, for example, the light rail topics. Geo updates are by far the most common versus, down here we have notice and alert messages, quite small, as examples, right? So it allows me to kind of look at my topic structure, kind of see the data that has been published during this scan that lasted, you can see down here, 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So
yeah, it might be worth
2020. That's So
might be worth
you can also
mentioning
click on things like when you click on it, it actually recenters the graph. It kind of zooms into that particular thing. So it kind of makes the root, the center of the graph, that particular node. So if I clicked on bus, we're going to zoom into the bus layer, and everything. You can see more and more detail as that data gets loaded in. So all these little edges here, these you can see up in the top right left there, the topics, the complete topics are showing not only the bus number, but also the kind of latitude, longitude, the coordinates of the buses. Over here, V1 looks like it's a street name, or maybe it's the whole name of the bus. I'm not sure. It's not my data, right? But it was a useful data set to look at. If instead of like number of messages, I want to see which was consuming the most amount of bandwidth, you can change it to payload bytes. Now you can see that these two notice and alert topics take up a lot more room, which means these are the more heavy bandwidth users. These messages must be quite a bit larger than the other ones. So even though they're relatively few messages, just little slice, number of bytes is quite large. So this was essentially version 1. This was the one that was built into the event portal V1, and it was missing a couple things. One, it couldn't do anything dynamic, right? That was kind of one of the big problems with it. Obviously, Solace, we're all about real-time data, and this is JavaScript, so why not try to integrate with the JavaScript API, have data read into it. So during the pandemic, I had to rewrite this whole thing, and finally got it published last year. So, I mean, I kind of sat on the code for quite a while, but very happily have now released it as a it's not an official product. We call it kind of community supported, Aaron supported, I guess. It's not. It's R&D hasn't taken my code yet. But Tom, before we start showing the new version, I call it version 2 because it is version 2, but everybody just knows it as the Topic Explorer because it's probably whatever. That's what it is. I'm going to play a little trailer that I made.
Aaron, before you do that,
I'm still on mute. I can't hear you. That's weird.
I'm supposed to be off mute now.
I can't.
Can you hear me?
Maybe it's me. Is it my headphones?
I think it might be you.
Uh-oh. Why does this always happen? Yeah, it's me. It's me. Hold on a sec, Tom. Give me a sec. I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna switch mics here. Watch this. I'm gonna switch like this and like this, and I'm gonna plug this and directly into the laptop. Hold on.
There we go.
And speakers are now this one. Say something.
How about that? Does that work?
No, I still can't hear you.
Oh dear. Other people can.
Can you hear Tom?
Yeah, people are in the comments.
We can hear Tom. All right. Live demos, eh? Why does this always happen? Let's see here. Say something, Tom.
Still saying something. Still saying
all right, I can hear you on my laptop speakers. Let me just put you back on headphones.
Okay.
Okay.
Still hear me? Can you still hear me? Nope.
That's bizarre. All right. I'm going to leave you on my laptop speakers, and there might be a bit of an echo. So.
No, it doesn't seem to be. It doesn't seem
to be.
It's
in the final sweep. Anyway, all right, everybody. Sorry about that.
Before you go any further, what I was just thinking, it might be worth just talking about the scan quickly. Like, how was this generated?
That's a good point. Okay, so this version 1, which is the kind of one we're looking at here, it was a separate little JCSMP, a Java console application that would connect to the broker and subscribe to, well, whatever you wanted it to subscribe to. So usually it's kind of just greater than, which is our catch-all wildcard. And that means it would kind of listen to all the data going over the broker. You can see on this particular scan, it looks like I was actually scanning for specifically topics that started with this San Francisco MTA topic root, and basically just built a tree. It received a message, grabbed the topic, split on levels, and then built a tree data structure. And that's and then you could save it to a JSON file, and then that would get imported into this one. So kind of a 2-step process, right? So a very static, when this graph gets rendered, it's just basically part of the load up procedure. It's a little static initialization. And so, yeah, there's no real dynamic capabilities at all. You'd have to kind of scan your broker and then try to import it. And also, due to some of the limitations of my programming abilities at that time, there was quite a few issues. Like you'll notice, as I zoom out and zoom in, I'm not showing the whole tree, right? Like kind of nodes get added along the edge as I zoom in and zoom out, because it was too much. I didn't know what I was doing. And so part of my wish for version 2 was, to be able to listen to things dynamically, and also kind of have a bit more functionality visually, less busy. Also, these tiny little wedges, as the number of wedges, the number of nodes increases, the number of topics, variability, this whole thing would start to go really slow. So with that in mind, I wanted to make a new version, and I'm going to show this trailer. Some people at Solace have seen this, but if you haven't, I'm gonna roll it now. So, all right, Tom, I can still hear you, I hope.
Yep, all good.
All right. Let's play this thing. So, roll it. Yeah, that's I was so proud of that. I was so proud of that early on when I made that thing. It's yeah, I don't know. Anyway, there you go. That's that was my little trailer. I showed that off at one of our user groups. Sorry, one of our Solace meetings that we had in Tokyo, and yeah, I never released that kind of publicly. But anyway, so now we're gonna show version 2, and this is it here. Yeah, are you ready, Tom? So this is you know, that trailer was made several years ago when I was still in development. So yeah, some of the graphics were not quite as standardized as they are today, but this is it. It's all available here at explorer.solace.dev. Just head over to this webpage and you can play with it yourself. And essentially, it's going to use it's using the JavaScript, Solace JavaScript API, SMF API, to actually connect into your broker, scan the topics, and load them in dynamically from where and redraw the visualization. So this required me to rewrite a lot of the code to make it dynamic, to support kind of dynamic adding of data as it came in. And yeah, so shall we run a scan, Tom? What do you think?
Sounds like a good idea, but where are we going to get the data from? What topics are we going to subscribe to?
Well, how about for a first one? How about I do have some data already running in my Singapore bus demo. Okay. If people have never seen that, it kind of looks like this. This is another one of my demos. Let's zoom out a little bit here. There we go. We got buses driving around Singapore. These are not real buses. It's not real traffic, but this is the data. This is a little demo showing messages flowing across the broker. And my map here is just subscribing to, as you can see, the bus topics down at the bottom there. But yeah, I want to instead maybe listen to this with my Sunburst with the Topic Explorer. So let's, I'm going to change the login here. Mesh.sg, Aaron.
I'm going to tell my fun story about how we originally generated some data for a demo like that by me riding around on my bike with my mobile phone, recording the GPS coordinates.
Yeah. So all my bus data was generated using Google Maps Direction API, which gives you kind of like a route along the road. And so I just, replay that as messages. Instead, yeah, Tom, you actually just drove around actually with a GPS device and recorded your location. That's a lot harder work. If you had like 40 bus routes, what would you do?
Spent a while doing it, I think.
Oh man. All right, so I've gone ahead and so basically, the little connection widget here, you can give it a host, username, password, the VPN you're connecting to, port, obviously, or you just paste in the entire URL here. Once you connect, it turns blue to mean we're connected. And then if we want to run it, I hit start. There we go. Got messages coming in. Boom. There's some messages. There's actually 2 demos running here. I forgot about that. Okay. So you'll notice I got some bus track messages. So this is my GP bus demo data. And we have topics that start with CAG. You can see that the graph is like redrawing itself here. Basically, there's an auto refresh. Shout out to Himanshu on my team, who basically suggested that as rather than having to click refresh manually, to have a little mechanism that it will redraw the graph on occasion. I'm just going to go ahead and pause it for a second. It's getting quite busy. Yeah, so so just like that, I can go ahead and scan my broker and listen to the topics that are flowing across it. I can see my bus data here. Again, we can zoom in. You can see that there's actually 2 different sets of topics. The GPS data, that's what the buses were, we were visualizing there as they drove around. And I also have door topics. I'm pretty sure this is just door open and close. Yeah, there we go. You can see the topics there. So as these buses, they come up to a stop, they'll, emit their door open, door close events. Same thing, you can zoom in, zoom out. I can go over and look at these CAG. CAG standing for Changi Airport Group. So this is a demo by another colleague of ours, Yang Sen, out in Singapore. So Singapore Airport is a customer, I forget. But this demo was made to kind of do planes driving around, ground traffic in a little buggy carts and stuff. And so, yeah, you can see there's different tracks for airplanes. There's some nulls. That's interesting. Null 00. All right, so someone's publishing a null. See, there we go. Look at this. Looking at your data, sometimes you can find problems with it. Maybe I don't want to have a null. I remember we were over at another customer, one of our mutual friends, Tom, I can't name the name, but we ran this scan and we started seeing topics with stars appearing in them. So someone was publishing with a star, which is typically not a best practice, but since that's a reserved wildcard character for subscribers. And so they immediately saw that and were like, oh, let's raise a bug. Let's go and fix this publisher. You shouldn't be publishing on stars. So sometimes just going and looking at the data, either scanning it and visualizing it with a tool like this, or, just building your own topic listener, you can identify problems in your architecture that you might not have known about. So I might have to go tell Yangsen that there's someone publishing with a null instead of, looks like aircraft, vehicle, or unknown are the 3 types. So yeah. Go back to my bus topics for a second. If I change this to number of messages, you can see that by far the most common is these GPS messages. Different ways of visualizing the data. Now, one big difference from version 1 is that it kind of automatically rolls up if there's too much detail at a particular level, like the arcs are getting really, really, really small. It'll actually roll up some of this into these kind of larger arcs, and you can adjust how much detail you want to see. So I can crank up the detail to level 4. So now we have much smaller. Obviously, it's going to change the rendering speed and performance. So you might notice it a little slower on a worse computer, crappier laptop, I guess. But you can see more and more detail. Zoom in here. There we go. There we can see all the buses that are on route 20A, I guess. And, some of the individual bus numbers. Looks like, yeah, so GPS, latitude, longitude, stopped, okay. And so, yeah, just a cool and easy way to visualize data in your event broker. Now, but rather than look at my bus demo, let's say you don't have data to, you've just started with Solace, you got your broker spun up, you don't have a publisher yet. What can we do for kind of looking at some data? Like if you don't have any data.
Wouldn't it be nice if we had some synthetic data somewhere? That'd be lovely.
Yeah. So that's a great segue to. Let me just go ahead and let me disconnect from this broker. I'm going to go ahead and just clear it out. Clear that out. If you've never heard about it, when I was a developer advocate, some of the other guys on the team deployed this page called feeds.solace.dev. Tom, you've heard of this, right? Yeah,
absolutely.
Yep. Yeah. So feeds.solace.dev. This is basically a way to generate synthetic fake published data for a number of different use cases. And again, it's using JavaScript, so it's going directly from your browser here. So your browser needs to have connectivity to the broker via the message bus, whether that's a hardware appliance if you're a big bank customer, or using software or cloud like I am right now for these demos. But yeah, we can go ahead and inject fake data, realistic-ish fake data into my broker and have something to look at, something to scan. So hold on a second. I'm just going to check over I got some comments here.
Yeah, we're using this in the Netherlands for Solace enablement sessions. Excellent.
That's right. I work with allowed me to use this. Oh, well, it's and the opties never look at EMS stats. You would never know the problem in the early days. Yeah, TIBCO had, what was it called? Hawk, I think, was its monitoring tool. Although I don't know if it was at the topic level. I think it was kind of just more like broker stats, like CPU utilization, spool, disk, queue depth, stuff like that. Gems. Yeah, I've heard of that. Steve Chan, if you're out there, pointed me to Gems. It'd be cool if, yeah. So I mean, Solace has a lot of tooling and a lot of monitoring capabilities. Our whole Insights platform, but yeah, again, specifically drilling down into the individual topic levels and topic messages. There's nothing built into the broker that does that. So, all right. So let me go ahead and how about core banking? Tom, what do you think?
Yeah, could do that.
Okay. So by default, it's pointing to my local host. I think my Docker container is up. Let let's do that. Let's just double check
So
here.
Running Roach has got a good idea. Actually, we need some capital markets data. So I don't know, market data feed maybe? Kind of pretend market data feed.
Do we have a market data feed?
I don't believe
Shopping,
we do.
SAP, travel, booking.
Nope.
No. Well, banking. I mean, it's
close. It's not the same, is it?
It's not the same, but yeah. Quality of service, direct or guaranteed. I'm just going to do direct. Go ahead and connect. Seems like it's connected. Once you're connected to your broker, whether again it's your local host Docker container or connecting to the cloud, you can choose which feeds to run. I'm just going to go ahead and split this out into its own little window here. Oh, I better start my. I have to get my my Sunburst reconnected here. So I'm going to get my Sunburst connected to my local host before I start this. Get rid of all this. Local host, turn off TLS, port 80. What is the
8080, isn't it?
No, 8080 is the no, hold on.
It's not going to be 80, that's for sure.
Yeah. Show service. I always forget. SMF web 8008. Yeah. 8,000.
Okay.
So 8008 for Solace Cloud, it's 80 and 443 if you're using TLS. VPN default and go. There we go. Connected. If I hit subscribe, so pressing play essentially turns on the subscriber. Holy moly! I already have. Oh, I have some logging topics. Look at that, Tom. Those are that's a bit. Wow. So this is, I forgot I did this. I turned on my subscription logging. So every time you add or remove a subscription, it's going to emit an event as a message over the broker. This was a feature designed for some of our, market data customers where they wanted to listen to which topics individual traders were subscribing to. And so rather than, these are not log files, but these are like these events are emitted as messages that you can then listen to. So I'm going to just turn my subscription. I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to listen to just regular. There we go. Clear this out. That's a bit, I don't need that much crazy stuff. So is it still going to show it? Whatever. It is what it is. It is what it is. So let's go ahead and start our test publisher here. Again, head over to feeds.solace.dev if you want to inject some test data into your environment. So go ahead and hit start. You can see the messages now are starting to come in here. Whoop. I'm just going to move this over here. Whoa, there we go. So suddenly I'm getting these Acme Bank messages and they're arriving. Let's just zoom in here a little bit. And I'm going to switch this back to balanced view. So it kind of spreads everything out nice and evenly. So there we go. Check it out, Tom. We got nice. Acme Bank /Solace. I don't know why /Solace /core. And then it looks like level 4 is the event type, deposit, payment, whatever. Then we got, okay, so this one has a V1 over here. This one has V1 on the next level. So we have a versioning in our topic string. So in case you wanted to like change from version 1 to version 2, it's built into the topic. If I wanted to go deeper and take a look at some of these payments. Oh, we got the currency. And it looks like, I don't know, the value maybe. So these are the topics. Yeah.
Value in a transaction ID maybe.
Maybe a transaction ID, maybe the bank number. I don't know. We'd have to look at the, I wonder, maybe it's actually described here. Ah, yeah, it is. Can you see that? Let me zoom in a little
bit. Not really. You need to zoom in a bit.
Yep. So, yeah, transaction ID. So they all end with a transaction ID. So there you go. Ta-da. That is your real-time data coming in from your broker. Just as messages are received, it basically is updating this data structure, this kind of big tree topic data structure in the back end using a web worker thread. So it's a separate thread than the GUI. And, every time it redraws, it's basically recalculating all the size of your arcs, all the different parts of this visualization. So let's go ahead and pause it right now. We can talk about some of the other features of this thing in case, you've never used it, or I can show you a few tips and tricks since I wrote it. The balanced view, which is what we're looking at right now, kind of spreads everything out evenly, right? So it's not it's not showing relative number of messages. It's not showing bandwidth or anything like that. It's just, if you have 5 topics levels at this level, everything's going to be a 5th, for example. So it kind of allows you to kind of easily see maybe topics that are only published on once or twice, because those would be tiny, tiny little slivers if they were not published very often. Again, changing by number of messages here, we can now see relative frequency. So payment messages are by far, I guess, because we have 2 different types of payments, loans and credit cards. So that's probably why this arc is a little bit bigger than the other ones. One thing that's different versus version 2, you see these dark gray parts here, Tom? So these are what I call, they don't have can't see the label on them. These are what I call others. That's a kind of a leftover name from the very beginning. Basically, I didn't want to, if you have like, say, 5,000 topic levels at that point, you don't want to show 5,000 tiny, tiny little wedges, right? And so I basically have the ability where you can kind of say how many elements you want to see at each topic level, right? So the top 10, the top 15 in this case, let's change it to the top 10. There we go, redraws. Yeah, now you can see it says others there. And so that's basically saying there's other data in the topic hierarchy. There could be a couple thousand. Well, actually, you can see up in the top left here. If you look up here where it says node, you can see that there's 20 more messages inside that other. So even if you had very dynamic data or very kind of like deep, lots and lots of topic levels at that point, it wouldn't visually overcrowd it. So that is what this others thing is. If you crank this up to like, the max, it would probably draw in. There we go. So now you'll visualize all the different pieces. So different ways of kind of seeing the data just to help declutter things. You could put it at the top 5 if you really wanted to. And now we're only seeing the top 5. Well, top 4 plus the others. Now, one thing people ask about is, what does this thing mean? Accurate others arc sizes. And this was a way to kind of, right now, it's toggled off by default, which means that the others, quote unquote, is only going to take up 1 over n, like 1 over 5 or 1 over 10 arc width. But if I turn this on, you'll see that they grow quite a bit. Now this is actually accurately depicting, for the number of messages, this is how many others are actually in there. So if for example, let's say I go to 100, so this is the entire wedge from here to here, right? But if I'm only looking at the top 5, this is still relatively the same, kind of size based on the number of actual messages for this particular USD topic. But it's not, maybe I don't want to actually see this big a thing. I can toggle this accurate arc sizes, and now it spreads out the data. I can see the labels and just makes it easier to visualize. So a little kind of useful tool, I guess, while you're browsing around. It essentially makes the others more behave like a balanced view. It's just taking up a percentage of the arc, regardless of actually how many messages are inside that arc size. Because yeah, if I do it like this, it's not quite as accurate. Yeah, see? So most of these are others. Turn that off, spreads things out a little bit more. Makes it a little bit easier to read. Obviously, the detail slider here, just kind of hides detail. You have to kind of drill down into that particular thing if you want to see more detail. So I'll have to go all the way down to version 1 if I want to see more detail. Click on Euro. Versus if you have your computer has a lot of horsepower, you can crank this thing up to detail level 5. Maybe let's put this back to 15 nodes. Obviously, this is not a huge topic space. The bus demo, for example, I think it has like 10 different levels. Some of our customers I know have 15 topic levels in some use cases. Tom, what's your kind of average topic depth that you see when you're out there working with customers?
Well, I mean, given our topic taxonomy recommendations, which I hope people follow, you kind of start at about 5 and go up from there, right? So between 5 and 10, I think, is fairly standard.
That's a good point. Topic taxonomy best practices. Let's flash up some of that before we finish up today. But let's finish looking at the thing, and just in case there's a few other some features that I can show off before we start talking about that. That is a good point. Well, right now, look, if I go all the way to the edge here to see the entire, so basically, yeah, if you're right at the edge, that is the full topic. So that was a message with that full topic received. You can see Acme, Solace, Core, payment, credit card paid, V1, Canadian, amount, transact. So 10 levels. So quite a few. Not insane, but that's that's definitely up there. Zoom all the way out. Clicking on the center, by the way, I don't think I mentioned that, but clicking on the center zooms you out one level, and then clicking on any node zooms you into that level. This is a version 2 enhancement. You can change the sort order. So, last arrival, you can change it by name. So it sorts it alphabetically. So D, P, T, W, for example. I did build there is a filtering I've built in. I haven't pushed that code yet, but I have in a branch. So you can say you're looking for a particular topic, right? You're looking for the word pay or something. I will soon, hopefully, release an ability to, there's gonna be another little kind of widget down here that you can say, I wanna search for pay, and it'll filter out all that stuff. So useful.
So question there then.
Yeah.
You could do that using a subscription, right?
Oh, no, because I'm looking for pay anywhere in the topic hierarchy, right?
Ah, right. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So a search rather than a filter.
It is. Yeah. It's a text. Yeah, it's a text search. Yeah.
Right.
So what Tom's saying there is, if you knew if it was a particular topic level or a part of the topic hierarchy, yes, you could adjust your subscription that you're listening to here, the topics that you're subscribing to only listen to the pay topics, for example. But yeah, no, this is more of a kind of a free text search across all your different topics that you've received. So a little bit different. Oh, one thing I'm very proud about, the icicle diagram. Some people don't like circles. Some people like squares. And I spent a couple days making this animation. Check it out. It unrolls itself. Yeah, baby. Yeah, there's quite a bit of, I had to dig up my calculus and trigonometry books to kind of make this all work. This is all hand code. I'm sure AI could probably do this thing in about 5 seconds now. But tweening, animating between the unrolling of the circle and to making it into a rectangle. It's not actually a rectangle. This is essentially a giant circle, right? This is the edge of a giant circle. And we're just, and it's squashed down to it. So it looks like a rectangle, but if you actually got a ruler out, it's slightly cone shaped. And so that's kind of the trick that I'm doing there to make it roll and unroll, is I'm basically making that inner circle much larger, much smaller. There we go. Rolls it back up. Pretty cool. Just a little flashy flash. So in terms of the data that you can visualize, obviously this is right now focused on kind of live data from your broker. Either connect into your local host or connect into your whichever VPN you want to scan, generate that, scan that data. But this is just a hierarchy, right? I mean, if you have topic data from, maybe you have some kind of tick store and you're actually recording all the messages that go through your broker, you could export that into a CSV and maybe load it in here. Right now, you can only export. There is an import version coming soon. So if you saved a scan, maybe you're listening to, I don't know, some other data source, or maybe you're using distributed trace. You could export the topics that it has seen and be able to import that into here as well. So couple different options. Once I finish the import button, it's just going to be a standard CSV, kind of topic, number of messages, number of bytes on each topic, and that's it. Did you know that Solace Cache, I guess now, tracks all these stats as well on a per topic basis? So
I think I may have done at one point, but I've forgotten that, certainly.
Yep, there's a SEMP command called show cache instance remote topics, and it shows you all the topics that are in the cache at that moment. But it also tells you how many times it's been published on, right? It'll tell you how many, even though it's usually storing only one message, it will say I've received 55 messages on this topic, and this is the cumulative byte count. So you could actually export your Sol cache topic taxonomy as well and visualize it using this tool. So quite a few different options, but yeah, it's just a very neat, I think, a neat way to kind of walk around, look at your topic data, see what's going over your broker, switch it back to the balance there. Look at those huge log topics, log info sub, blah, 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 blah. So depending on how deep your topic is, you're going to have many, many levels. Of course, if you need to kind of move it out of the way because you want to see a bit more stuff, these are all things that I fixed in version 2 that are not in version 1. You can change the size of the arcs just with the mouse wheel in, out, a couple other things like that. So yeah, that is the tool. If you want to read some help, there's a little help button down here. I wrote a little help page on what it is. And if you want to like talk to me about it, hit me up on Solace Community. That's probably the best place to find me. So I'm just going to Google what Tom was asking about. Solace topic best practices. Sponsored result. Okay, not that, please. Here we go. So yeah, just go into your favorite search engine. Doesn't have to be the Google one, but whatever you want. Search for Solace topic best practices. You'll find this document. And this has been an evolution over the years, right? I mean, so as we've worked with customers helping build their event-driven architectures, we've had some gotchas and some like things that we've learned. Things like, including a version string, a version number in your topic hierarchy allows you to change the topic structure. And by doing kind of like a blue-green version 1, version 2 at the same time, keeping in mind the important things of like, what do I need to route on? What do I need to filter on? These types of things belong in the topic hierarchy. I actually haven't seen this page in quite a while. Noun, verb, properties. Right. So this is kind of, I would say, this is how we now introduce people to thinking about topics, Solace smart topics as this kind of construction. It's more of a learning tool. Obviously, things can get a lot more complicated as you add more levels and things like that. But a good place to start, in simplistic terms, a good hierarchy takes the form of noun, verb, properties. Noun being kind of what this thing is about. What is the source system? Maybe what is you could have it as like...
Well, not the source system, right? It's
not the source system. Not the source system, but like maybe what part of the business this is coming from or what type of data this is,
Yeah.
This is...
What type of data? Because if you say things like what part of the business, people start to think in organizational terms, and that's one of the things we say to avoid, right? Because organizations change. So
I would argue that topic design, there's a lot of overlap with kind of data dictionary type taxonomy work. So is this a message from the HR system, or is this HR related data? Even if it's coming from HR, it might be some other non-HR related data. But so we're describing, the topic describes the contents of the message. That's the most important thing, right? It's not, even though our APIs call the topic the destination, right? That's kind of a JMS, because we're a JMS broker as well. And so, when you publish a message, we call it the destination. We say, don't think of it like that. Think of it as a message payload descriptor. And so just looking at some of the examples here, can you read that enough? I'll zoom in a few.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so like here's some examples, right? So we have a flight type of message. The verb, so noun, verb, properties, the verb is like the action. What is the event that is occurring, right? Because these are all event-oriented messages. That means that some event has occurred in reality, and we are publishing a message to indicate that's happened. The flight is now boarding. And then some details about that flight. So we can see where you got, I guess it's probably flight number. Oh, it's right here. Flight number, origin, destination, right? Here's my nice topic taxonomy. Oh, we have it delayed. The flight is delayed or wheels up. These are events that can be broadcast onto our broker, onto the event mesh, and routed wherever we go. And then using our wildcards, we can subscribe to particular parts of that topic taxonomy. So it's the addressing of the data versus the kind of the storage or the how you attract that data. These are different things versus like a typical JMS broker where the topic is kind of like more like, the kind of routing object, right? A topic is more of a static, flat, just object rather than this dynamic hierarchical kind of construct here. So for example, if you wanted to, you have a new flight number arrive, right? Because Solace supports these kind of dynamic topics, you can just start publishing on that new flight number. You don't have to go and configure anything in the broker to say, hey, there's a new flight, add this quote unquote topic. That doesn't happen. You just, as a publisher, it's like, all right, here's the new flight number. And if you are subscribed to, for example, all the delayed flights, it doesn't matter. Like, as long as your message that you're publishing starts with flight/delayed, doesn't matter what all this is. This is our catch-all, or this is our multi-level wildcard. And so even if there are new messages or topics being added here, new flight numbers, new airports, I don't know, we're going to get a copy of that data. So very good reference material here. The topic design best practices. People should definitely go and read this before they start writing too much code. Obviously, hello world and stuff like that is important. But I would say if you're an application architect designing your first kind of big, proper event-driven architecture with Solace, take a read through this and kind of think about how you want to design things. So.
Well, take a read through this, certainly, but maybe one of the first things you want to do is use the AI assistant in Event Portal, right? Because that'll start constructing example topics for you. You can have a look at that and then refer back to this and see why it's doing it in the way it's doing it, right?
That is, I forgot about that. That was a very cool, I think it was a hackathon project originally.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Was it Cardi?
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
Yeah. So if you are a Solace Cloud user, even if you're not, you can sign up for a free trial account. There is, inside the Event Portal Designer, there is a way to get you some ideas for the blah, 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 blah.
Aaron, can you zoom in a bit?
Oh, sorry.
There you go. Lovely.
Yeah. All right. My company. Give me let's do it. What's a use case? Give me a use case.
Oh, Tom's Great Ice Creams. There you go.
Creams plural, eh?
Yeah.
I want a event-driven architecture that links up my ice. I don't want to type too much here. Ice cream manufacturing sites.
Yep.
And also logistics for my delivery vans. And for each of my 100 store locations, what their inventory is, as well as sales throughout the day.
There you go.
I don't know. How's that? Good enough? Anything else?
No, you're good.
All right, so let's see what's going to happen here. So AI is going to go off and think, all right, what can we suggest for this? So yeah, I forgot about this. This is a great.
Should we back off a bit? What we've got here is Event Portal, right? Which is our event management, governance, and documentation tool. And it's a single place where, we talk about this topic taxonomy, but what do the individual events mean? Who owns them? Who produces them? Who subscribes to them? And that's what Event Portal is all about, right? It's got some great features in there around deploying stuff to the broker. But what we're showing here is I'm starting from nowhere, right? I don't have any event-driven architecture. Wouldn't it be great if we could have some help? And that's what this AI design assistant is, right? You just give it a description of what you're trying to do, and it'll build an example event-driven architecture for you. What's great about this now is you can now start pushing stuff down to the broker as well. So you just need to write a little bit of code, and away you go.
Wow! All right, I don't have time to read all these things.
But what it's done here is it's looked at our description, and this description that's generated here is, it's made some inferences about what we're trying to do. Right, so we've said there's going to be some stores. So it said, well, I need to connect up to the point of sale systems. Right, that's the great thing about Gen AI. Right, it's going to look up what other people do with shops. How do they connect in? And it's going to fill that out for you. Now, this description then goes into Event Portal. So if somebody comes across your what we call an application domain here, they're going to see this description that's going to stay with that application domain, so that they can see exactly what it is we're trying to do in here.
Names can only contain
apostrophe. Take off the Thomas.
Well, I didn't generate that. I don't want this to turn into a whole event portal demo. I mean, that's because that's going to take us forever. And you know, people. I just want to like quickly whip up some topic taxonomies. So just because we're on the subject of topic taxonomies, let's while that's loading up. Localhost. All right. You might have noticed in the trailer I mentioned SMF and MQTT WebSockets listeners. As of today, there's only SMF listener. So for when I was actually writing the code, I was using MQTT. The SMF was a later addition, but for the actual production release here at explorer.solace.dev, I ripped out the MQTT part because something was not quite right with it. Anyway, so there is a new version coming out soon. So even if you're using Solace in an IoT use case, or you're using Hive or Mosquito or something like that, you could actually, once the MQTT listener is in here, you'll be able to like generate the same kind of data. So hopefully you'll use Solace Broker for your MQTT, but even if you're not, it's still going, Tom. Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to go into this, but like if people don't know about it, read the topic design best practices. It's great. Or tell your AI chatbot to go ahead and summarize it. It's too much data. And then if you want to kind of get your head in the right space, come here and describe your application and see what the AI assistant will suggest for you. You know, whether you're in banking or logging data or telemetry or anything, right? So, there we go.
Best thing to do is create events, and then we can see the topic structure run.
Yeah. All right. So, blah blah blah. Different apps. A lot of manufacturers. I gave it a fairly long description, right? I mean, look at all these different apps. Because I said logistics, manufacturing, vans, point of sale. So yeah, we should have scoped this down a little bit, right? trying to boil.
I was trying to get you to look. Stop there.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry about that. While this is going, do we have any questions from the?
Yeah, running Roach wants to make some suggestions for the next version, but the suggestions haven't quite.
The only thing is capital markets day. Okay. So our colleague Himanshu does have one, and he gave me his. Yes, we will make one. It's not on the feeds website, but yeah, having a little, NYSE /equities /Apple stock or whatever. That will not be hard. We'll do that. Carol says need to run. We should chat about observability EDN another day. Script compared to your use back. Observability, yes. So this is I would argue that the topic explorer addresses some of the observability stuff. It allows you to kind of peer inside the messages flowing across your broker, but it's not a monitoring application, right? You wouldn't leave this thing running all the time. It's more like kind of scan it for a few minutes and kind of watch the data that's in there. Just useful stuff. Observability, we can talk about distributed trace. Maybe we haven't done a session on that in quite a while. And there's other things built into the broker, such as the no subscription match log. It's sometimes quite useful. Rogue publishers publishing on topics that nobody's listening on, those are logged in the broker, so you can actually listen to them. For example, hey Mark, Sunburst is not only useful, it's kind of useful, but also a cool visual tool. Yes, thank you very much. That's great. Hey, Pramod from India. Hello, welcome to the stream. You're catching the end of it here. Mohammed from UK. Hello. And one last comment here from Running Roach. Next version, non-HTTPS option. Right. Yes. So, yeah, one problem is Chrome and most browsers will not allow you to, if you've loaded a web page off of HTTPS, will not allow you to connect to a WebSocket unsecured thing. It talks about like mixed modes and security stuff. That's kind of that was a feature that was added to Chrome and many browsers. I can make this available as a Docker container. So basically, it's a little Nginx web server and all the source code. So if you have a Docker, if you want to run this on your internal network on a broker that doesn't have a server certificate, I'm happy to provide that that way. So just shout and let me know. I didn't finish reading the comment. Ability to see publishes directly to queues. It does do that. When you publish to a queue, underneath the covers on the wire, it's actually being published on a special topic called a network topic for the queue. And it looks like, what is it? Help me out, Tom. Is it's hash P2P/QUE/QName? It's something like that, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, so if you subscribe to, I think it's hash P2P/greater than, I'm pretty sure, I'm 98% sure that you'll actually see messages that are being published directly to queues. And so a useful tool, if you're trying to chase down applications that are not supposed to be publishing directly to queues, you're supposed to be using topic best practices, and you have your queues subscribed to those topics, you can catch out, publishers that are publishing directly to queues. So yes, it does work with that. Just make sure your topic is, I think it looks something like, hash P2P/greater than. I think that will capture messages being published directly to queues.
Yeah, because that hash P2P topic by default is suppressed in the wildcard.
That's right. Yeah. If you subscribe, so if you subscribe to just this, by the way, if people are wondering what this no export means, when you have an event mesh, you have multiple brokers connected with DMR or MNR. If you subscribe to this, it will actually send that subscription to all the other brokers in the mesh and start attracting messages from all those other brokers. So you could suddenly have all of your WAN links start to get really, really busy as, my little Sunburst here is trying to pull data from across my mesh. I ran into this pretty quickly when I was using my global demo mesh, where I have, 4 brokers across the world, and it started pulling in data from everywhere. And suddenly it just, everything, it was not great. So that's what that no export does. But yeah, if you just subscribe to this, by default, it's going to hide all of the hash P2P, which is your request reply topics, you're publishing directly to queues and stuff like that. So that is why we're suggesting P2P/this, that will listen to messages being published directly to queues. So there you go.
Another one there from Running Roach, which is really interesting, is subscription tracking. I like that because we've had discussions about this in the past.
Oh, yeah, I missed that there.
Subscription tracking. Because
that has been on my list of things to do for quite some time. Using a little SEMP, our API management API, you can scrape all of the what's known as SMRP, the Subscription Management Protocol database, from the broker, which would include all the direct subscriptions, all the queue subscriptions, and build yourself essentially a tree, a list, so that when you, for a particular topic, you could then look up which are the queues that are attracting it. You could also then generate the fan out information for each of these topic wedges, right? So,
and what you could do is compare that subscription with the topics here. So you could see which ones it's matching, because that'd be a nice way of marrying up your subscription versus what's actually being published, right? It's a really good idea, that actually. I like it.
Yep. Another customer of ours was like, this is great, except they want to see how many people are subscribed to this or who would receive it if they did. And obviously you can't get that just from listening to the message data. You'd have to go to the broker and pull all that subscription information, somehow load it up, and then integrate it with this, right? Like right click on a topic and say, show me who's listening to this. I don't know, something like that. So TBD on exactly how it's going to be implemented, but yes, I am thinking about it, and I will get around to it eventually. So it's not, as the trailer started off, this is a passion project of mine. It's a little it's my side hustle. I'm not getting paid for it, so it's not my job. So like work on it is like intermittent at best, and I would love to keep going on this a little bit more, but as of now, these are things that I want to think about. Very quickly before we wrap up, let's take a look at some of the events that it produced there. Production order event created. We got Tom's Ice Cream production order created / manufacturing site ID and the order ID. All right, that's a good topic. Here you have a batch scheduled for a particular line. Look at this scroll bar, Tom. Can you see how? So this is a very long. Okay, so temperature threshold breached. Quality.
Yeah, it's important for ice creams, right?
Yeah. Dispatching, logistics, route ID, route created for a new route. Blah blah blah. So you could go ahead and basically. So now we can actually say, all right, go and build this, and it would actually deploy all these objects and all this data and all these things that it's created here into the event portal. And you can then visually look at, here are who's sending and who's receiving, who's publishing this. And it would actually link them all up from application to application, all the different events that are being published. So very cool tool. I think I probably, like I said, I went a little overboard on showing that off, but yeah. Tom, we're actually at the top of the hour. We're a minute over here. So I think this is a good place to stop. I could talk about this for hours, but I think I showed off pretty much all the main features of it. There are a couple of things I'm working on in the background. Let me go ahead and just do that. There we go. Yeah. So how was that? Was that okay? That hour went by really quickly, I felt, but
yeah, I think that was good. Plenty of comments, which is good.
Yep. I hope people enjoyed it. Sorry for running a little bit late, and I hope I didn't ramble too much, but Tom, thank you very much for joining. I know it's the end of your day. Are you heading to it's Tuesday at 5 p.m. Are you heading to the pub, or what's
no, that's tomorrow.
Oh, that's tomorrow. Okay. Yep. So the London office, they have little weekly all hands, and then often head down to the pub after that. I enjoy the London office for that reason, but better than working at home. But I'm going to go have lunch. That's what I'm going to do. So thanks, Tom. Thanks everybody for joining. You can find the replay as always on our YouTube channel. I'll be back next month. I don't know what the topic will be. Probably something AI related, since that's what we're all talking about these days. But I did quite a few Solace Agent Mesh ones of the last couple episodes. I thought I'd do something a little more fun than that. Well, not fun. I want to do this thing. So anyway, blah blah blah. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Tom. We'll see everybody in the next one. All right.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.